Hey Brian, it's Eric from Locals Only. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Hey, I'll be pulling up in just about 2 minutes in a white Mercedes.
Right on. We'll be right there.
All right, see you in a second. Hey, welcome to Locals Only. I'm Eric Hale, and if you don't know me, I'm the guy that founded Local Magazine 14 years ago in my garage. It's been my job for all those years to tell you the coolest places to eat in all of Southern California, fun things to do so you have date nights that aren't boring, and we've talked to some really interesting people. Now we have a podcast, and we're lucky enough to call this Mercedes-Benz EQE all-electric sedan, courtesy of Fletcher Jones Motorcars in Newport Beach, our mobile podcast studio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the conversation. Welcome to Locals Only. Today, we're in San Diego, and we're going to be picking up Mike Love from the Beach Boys. He's going to tell us all about how he's been doing transcendental meditation since December of 1967. We're going to talk about the happiest song ever recorded and some of the time that he spent in India with the Beatles. We also have his son Brian here, who's going to tell us all about Club Kokomo Spirits. Now sit back, buckle up, and enjoy Locals Only. There they are right here.
Oh, cuties.
Perfect timing.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Oh, sorry. I pressed it a lot.
There you go. Should open up there.
Hi.
Do you even have a driver's license?
I did. Well, only for a few years now. Take your time there. Watch out. There you go.
I said, what the hell?
What
that's my name.
What the hell? Oh, I love it. That was good.
All right. We're taking our life in our hands
Hi,
doing
Brian.
this podcast.
Yeah. Well, you better put your seatbelt on if you're that
Oh,
afraid.
yeah, true.
Well, this is a real pleasure to have you here with us, both Mike, and we also have in the back seat Brian.
Thanks for having us.
Sitting next to my wife Erin back there. And,
Hi, Aaron. Back there.
Hi, honey. Good
and if
to
you guys
meet
noticed or look, you'll see we have cameras trained on us all right through here. And
Wow.
you have your microphone. I'm sure you know what to do with a microphone better than anybody I've ever talked to.
Well, I don't know about that. Only 60 years of it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of anniversary, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
A
happy
few
birthday.
days belated now that
Yeah.
we're talking about it. Happy
pretty
83rd.
close.
Yeah, I was. There's a lot of disinformation going around.
Is there about when your birthday is?
Yeah, like 83. I don't know about that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not true. There's no way you can be 83.
That's right.
No
Maybe we shouldn't
way.
do the whole podcast down an alley either.
Well, the Beach Boys released a record called Surfin' in the fall of 1961. So we've been at it a while. That's true.
Fall of 1961. Yeah, I was one of my cousins, who's 10 years older than me, was born in 61, and he's a huge Beach Boys fan. And he was born around the same time your first album came out. That's pretty interesting.
He's a spring chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, for a Beach Boys fan.
Yeah, Surfin' Safari was 62, Surfin' USA is 63. The Pet Sounds album, which the cover was notoriously photographed at the San Diego Zoo, that came out in 66.
And we're in San Diego right now, which is
Yeah.
great. So for our listeners, we're with Mike Love from the Beach Boys with his son Brian, and we are cruising through. Maybe, I guess if I turn the camera around, if they wanted to see, we're probably like Mission Beach area of San Diego,
That's
maybe
right.
PB,
Right. That's
kind of on the border of the two. But I'm really glad to have you here, and maybe I could just start out with a few questions. I know you get asked probably the same questions a lot over the years. You've been interviewed more than once, but something that interested me, and if you'd like to talk about it, was your meditation. Are you still doing your meditations that you've talked about so many times over the years?
I did it this morning.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yes, and I have been doing it since December of 1967 when Maharishi taught us in Paris.
Wow.
Yeah,
So pretty much consistently every day since then.
Yeah.
We like
well,
to call it his sleepitation.
Nice sleepitation.
Well, you can take a nice nap in between your mantras and whatever. No, yeah, it's been a very valuable tool for survival, and not only survival, just being able to undertake a lot of let's see, let's say we do 150 concerts a year. We have an excellent crew, and we have an excellent band. But if I didn't meditate, I couldn't do that many shows, I don't think, or for as many years either.
Wild.
And it keeps you away from other lifestyle choices which might not be so positive.
Right.
Might have some problems that they create. And like my cousins, we all learned to meditate, but then some of them, my cousin Dennis could not get up off the drugs and all that. So.
Well, 57 years. I mean, I think that makes you an expert at it. What is there an amount of time that if somebody was just getting started, can they just do a minute? Do they need to do 10 minutes? What would you recommend to somebody just getting started?
Maharishi teaches transcendental meditation, it's called, which in Sanskrit it's called Raj Yoga. Raj means king, and yoga is union with the infinite, basically. Okay. And so it's taught in a course of instruction, 4 lessons of about an hour and a half each. And then you're on your own. And so it's real simple to learn, but it is taught in a procedure that there are people who are trained teachers of TM.
Okay.
And so it's good it's like a course of instruction. Any course of instruction you would take to get a degree. But this is a degree in inner development.
Well, I meditated pretty consistently for about a year and a half or 2 years, almost every single morning, routinely, and I got a lot out of it, but I feel like I backslid, like I've done in a lot of things in life. I'm good at for a moment in time, and then you get distracted by other things, and you find yourself yearning to go back. So I think it's a real testament how long you've been doing it. I think that's super impressive.
Right.
Life can be distracting, and it is distracting at times, and sometimes it's it's good to have a place to go to deeper within you, not outwardly, but inwardly, that allows you to escape from all that, the upper problems, and give you a little more energy and clarity and awareness, expanded awareness, so that the problem used to be, really big, but it's not as big if you give it coming at it from a perspective of
I love that.
When you look at something from far enough away, it gets really small, right?
Correct.
So if you see it in the context of something that's much larger, like a universe, I do that a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm in the shower and I'm really worried about something, and then I go, well, you're just on a rock floating through space, and you're only here for a short amount of time. So how big is this problem that you're really worried about? I wanted to touch on a word that you used, which was energy.
Yes.
I think that's really important because you're 83, and I think I made assumptions about you and your schedule, right? I looked at everything that you were doing, and I was just like, there has to be maybe more ego involved. But now when I hear more about the meditations and that kind of stuff, I don't know that maybe that's what's driving you, because it feels like maybe there's something bigger. Because why would you've achieved everything? And I think that's always my question for big achievers, is once you've achieved so much, how do you keep going?
I haven't achieved everything. You know what I haven't achieved?
What?
World peace.
Oh, I love it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so anything, all these billionaires and trillionaires, and they're shooting rockets off in space and stuff. How about fixing the world? How about paying a little attention to the earth? Okay. So in terms of environment and humanity, there's a lot of work to be done. So
I agree.
So the energy that you put into all of these shows, do you feel like that there's reciprocal energy in that? Do you feel like the energy you put out is coming back to you, and that kind of keeps you going?
Absolutely. In fact, the only reason we do these shows, in fact, in my point of view anyway, from my perspective, is the only reason you would want to do them is because it creates positivity and happiness, which is in short supply a lot of times in the world.
That's great. So you feel like what you're doing is refueling the energy banks of happiness, maybe, and good feelings and good vibes.
It absolutely
good vibrations.
Literally good vibrations. Yes.
Yeah, I think.
In fact, there's a psychologist in Sheffield, England. You can check it out. He researched a whole bunch of songs with about 2,500 respondents, and Good Vibrations came in at number 1 for for making people feel happy.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm always
Number
listening
one.
to that.
And then we had number 8 was I Get Around, but then September by Earth, Wind and Fire was 10. There was a Marley song in there too, and a Pink record. So there were a lot of, it wasn't just us, it was a lot of different songs. He wanted to find out what songs make people feel the happiest, and
I
Good
love
Vibrations
that.
came in.
I think this is a kind of a, for me, maybe something I never thought I would see, but in just a few weeks, the Beach Boys are headlining one of the largest country music festivals in the world. And I know music can be as music. But
Morgan Wallen is headlining, but we're on the show.
Yeah.
aren't you like headlining? Aren't you? Well, maybe you're Sunday.
We're in the same day, that Sunday in April. And is this the 28th?
Yeah, April 28th.
Yeah.
April 28th.
Yeah.
Stagecoach.
It's the same day that the tickets go on sale for the Rady Show. by the way.
Yes.
Well, so I think so maybe comment first on what it's like to be headlining a country music festival as more of perceived rock and roll band or surf rock and roll band. How is that? How did that come to be?
You know, these festivals are getting enormously popular. We did one in New Jersey on the shore last year, and there were 50,000 people there.
Wow.
And in fact, there's one on September 28th that's sold out already. It's called Ocean Calling in Ocean City, Maryland. So the 55,000 people a day for 3 days sold out already.
Wow.
So it's an amazing phenomenon, these festivals. And what it is there's a chance for people to hear all kinds of artists and all kinds of music in one concentrated period of time.
Right.
So I think it's great. And, I like doing those shows because it turns out that our songs, no matter when they were created, they still resonate with people of all ages.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you
absolutely.
specifically about. When I know popular artists at times, they can put the mic out and not sing the words very much, right? Like maybe Jimmy Buffett. I'm wondering how much singing would you actually have to do if you guys just turn the music on? Would people just be taking over and singing every lyric? Because you have some of the most, or if not the most recognizable songs
there's
ever created.
There's some big hits that we do, but then there's some songs that aren't as well known, but we love doing them because of the subject matter. For instance, I do a song called Pisces Brothers.
Okay.
That came as a result of being in India with the Beatles, and George Harrison and I both had our birthdays. He on February 25th, I on March 15th, which we're both Pisces. So when he passed away, I was feeling very sad about that, and wrote this song called Pisces Brothers. Now, not very many people know it, but when they hear it, they can feel the I don't know what it is. It's the value of the heart or something.
Yeah, the love.
Devotion, and because and it talks about Jai Gurudev, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, because he was into the Hare Krishna
Right.
thing. In fact, they live at his house, and they took him to his ashes to India, and so I mean he was way into that. So I just included a little bit of what in the song of what he loved and was all about, and Jai Gurudev is something that Maharishi would say about. He didn't put much emphasis on himself, but his teacher, Gurudev, which means divine teacher. So that is a whole different life experience, being in India,
Right.
and meditating and listening to Maharishi speak. And it's another song called All This Is That, which is I am that, thou art that, all this is that, which is a saying in Sanskrit, which don't ask me how to say it in Sanskrit because I don't remember. But anyway, those are things that you learn by being exposed to different cultures and different environments and stuff like that. So so you'll hear at our shows sometimes things that are different than I Get Around the Fun and Help Me Run at California
Right,
Girls
right.
Good Vibrations.
We can make a list of those, and they just keep going.
Kokomo is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
In fact, we're very much into Kokomo spirits too,
Okay.
for that matter. And
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. So speaking of, one thing I wanted to ask you was, since you are playing at the Rady Shell September 1st, which I think this is big news that tickets are just about to go on sale. And what a beautiful venue. One of the
it's
one
great.
of the crown jewels, I think, of the California
We've done
coastline.
everything. Jack Murphy Stadium. We've done Humphreys a million times. There's different gambling facilities nearby, Paula and all that. But Rady Shell for a concert is just amazing. It's
Just
beautiful.
just gorgeous. And my question was going to be, and maybe we had a little spoiler, but is there anything that would be on your rider, past or present, that you definitely want to have in your dressing room? Is there something maybe from the past, or is the Kokomo that we're about to talk about, is that on your rider now?
I don't know if it's on our rider, but it will be available, Brian, won't it? At Rady Shell?
Yeah, Club Kokomo Spirits. So, we obviously the Beach Boys started with a 63-year now legacy of being a family band. And we've had the pleasure of setting up headquarters down here for what we're working on the last couple of years. Club Kokomo Spirits is now a family-run distillery, family-run brand. So we, if we talk about the rider, I'm sure there will be some Kokomo mojitos back there for you. But
Yes.
yeah,
very
Club
good.
Kokomo Spirits is something that Dad and I are working on together, along with a few other folks. But it's a local rum distillery in partnership with Seven Caves, which is, pretty well known in this area as being a ludicrously small batch distillery. But we've now moved into a larger space. We've launched some ready-to-drink cocktails October of 2022. But now our bottled rum spirits were formally launched on March 19th with our big party at the Kona Kai Resort here in San Diego.
I love it.
So it's really great. I've never had a shot of whiskey or a shot of tequila with Dad, because outside of beer, wine, he really only drinks rum. So
Really?
most specifically, his favorite cocktail is the mojito. So.
Yes.
Mojitos.
I love that. I would like to also just maybe touch on something else that I think is really cool. I happen to be at a Travel California conference, and it was pretty neat. The first thing they started with having plastic bags on every table.
Oh.
Plastic bags. And they said everybody, there was about 1,000 people there. Take your phones. They have to go in the plastic bag.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
They have to be sealed. This is this
Wow.
big of a deal because
Faraday pouches, of course.
right.
Yeah.
I guess, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Faraday pouch. Okay, so
Oh.
these, we put our phones in there. Then they tell us, now that all the phones are put away and they went around and checked, we're going to show you guys the sneak preview of this Disney documentary
Oh.
about the Beach Boys.
What is this?
No,
I mean,
about
when
it.
was this event? that you
This
went
event
to?
was just this last week.
No kidding.
Yeah, so they had to probably sign a whole bunch of NDAs and promise
Sure.
and make sure this
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
But it was really fun that we got to see one of the first people, probably outside of people in this car, that got to see this preview. And I, for me, that's really exciting. I think it's something that's been probably needed to happen for a long time, something that needs to be put down on film. And maybe you could just tell me a little bit about this documentary.
The Beach Boys company, Brother Records, a large percentage of it was sold to Iconic, which is an organization headed up by Irving Azoff, who's a brilliant manager of many. He was the manager of Chicago, and also who else was the manager of? Oh, the Eagles. Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
Another
they're doing pretty
decent
good.
sized band.
They're
Yeah.
doing pretty good. Yeah. and anyway, so he got together with Frank Marshall, who's a filmmaker, and did a great job doing a documentary. Dug into some things which I haven't seen for years, and family photos and this and that. And there's stuff by my cousin Dennis,
Yeah.
and my cousin Carl, both who have passed away.
Yeah.
Carl, 25 years ago.
Right.
Dennis left the planet 1983, which is
Yeah.
a bummer. But
Oh.
Yeah.
but then my cousin Brian and I, and Bruce Johnston, and Alan Jardine, and David Marks, the remaining characters,
Yeah.
we got together for the climax of the film and just showed us just getting together, which was really nice. And there was another show that Irving got together was last Easter Sunday on CBS. They played a show with 20 different acts doing 20 different Beach Boys songs.
Oh, wow.
It was fantastic.
That's really now.
Yeah.
Now, did you have to go through your archives at all for this? Did you have?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have all 8mm or
Tons,
photos?
yes,
and
all that.
things that
Family
you've been
photos
keeping?
from
Yeah.
back in the 50s and early 60s and stuff.
How neat! That is
so
really cool.
It's pretty comprehensive, you know. It doesn't show as much of the live concert stuff. I've always been about the live concert thing. Like, for instance, my cousin Brian left the touring group in 1964 and concentrated solely on production of music and recording of the records from 64 on. So I, on the other hand, dealt with the agency and the management and all the concerts and where we were going to go and when, and there's a whole art to that. And so I focused on that. And because Brian and I wrote songs together,
right.
it often fell to me to be singing the lead on some of the songs that we wrote together, and I would be coming up with the concepts and lyrics, and he'd come up with the music primarily. So I've always been into the live music aspect of things. Like, so when you talk about the festival we're going to do, or if we're going to talk about the radio show, then
I love the live.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I get it. I'm into that too.
That's really cool. I feel like you've been. I don't know if you call yourself a poet or a writer. It's somewhere along those lines, right?
Well,
You've been that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've even looked at some of your Instagram posts, and I don't know how much of that you're doing or how much you're on social media, but there's still, in your words, in your captions, there's a poet in pretty much what you do. So is that something that you feel has just never left you? That was like the driving force in you this whole time? Was it music, I guess, or was it poetry?
Well, interestingly enough, I was the most well-read kid in my school in junior high, grade school, junior high, and high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my reading was philosophy and social studies, they called it, but also English literature, American literature. I was always fascinated by the origins of words, you know, and
anything but math is a good subject, right?
math is a four-letter word. I don't,
Yeah. I'm with you.
that's not my scene. I mean, I admire people who can think that way, but I'm not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I was always into the lyrics and words and poetry and stuff like that. In fact, the teacher would call on me to recite some poetry in high school and stuff. So yeah, I always got great grades and those types of things, and not so great
Natural
in
born.
chemistry, physics, and math.
Do you still find yourself writing
Oh yeah.
today? Like, are you just like standing in the shower and some lyrics pop into your head and you're like,
Poems.
this would be a great song. This would be something I'd love to put down.
Yeah, I come up with ideas like once in a while, like, you know, like that kind of thing. But there's a thing called supply and demand. If there's no demand, why supply, right? So,
right.
Absolutely.
but when it comes down to crunch time, like for instance, my cousin Brian worked on the track of Good Vibrations for several months and
Right.
several thousands of dollars. But I had not written the words to the song because it hadn't been finished yet. So finally it's finished, and the day of the vocal session, I dictated the words to my ex-wife, and she wrote it out as I'm driving to the studio.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So you were listening to it? Were you listening to it at the same
I had
time?
one of those car record players in the car, you know, those little
Yeah.
little players back in the day.
That is
Yeah.
real. That is really cool.
Wow.
So you actually wrote the words to
On the
Good
way to the
Vibration on
studio.
the way to the studio
Yeah.
in the car.
That is incredible.
Well, we're in a car right now. Are you inspired to write any great songs that maybe I could co-write with you right now?
Too many people talking.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Maybe you could write a song about Club Kokomo right now. Maybe like the jingle or something. We could just come up with it.
Yeah, you guys don't. Do you guys have a jingle?
Yeah,
Well,
what
that
is the
song
jingle?
Kokomo says
Well, yeah,
it all.
I guess that's
you know?
the jingle.
It's a
Yeah.
place
I mean,
to
give
The
away
original
from it all.
song.
Yeah, and you get there fast and then take it slow.
That's
right?
the one.
Yeah.
That's what we're using.
That's our motto.
It kind of embodies, the sense of what we want to capture, which is escape from the everyday, or take a little bit to relax. What better to do it with than a nice rum drink?
Oh man, I had some of those cans in my fridge.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah. I just finished the last one this Friday, and I
They're
can't wait to
strong.
try the new product.
Yeah, they're 10%.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
It's
so
rather
you
fun.
Yeah.
got to be careful.
Yes.
Since they're 10%, I mean, maybe
One is
you have
all I need.
1.5.
Yep, one is all I need.
I don't want to drink a 6-pack of those.
Yeah.
That's probably why we had so much fun that Friday.
Yeah.
Eric.
Maybe.
Afternoon delight. There you go.
Yeah.
There
Exactly.
you go. Tie it in exactly. Let's talk about that product then a little bit. Where can people find it? Is it in San Diego? Is it all over Southern California? Like, where are they going to be able to locate it?
Yeah, so for the time being, obviously headquarters is here in San Diego. It just made sense from a practical perspective, but also we happened to find one of the best distillers out here who'd recently launched a lemongrass infused rum, and we were searching all over for who could make this stuff for us. How could we develop the product according to our vision? And it's hard out there, and there's not a lot of good partners, and a lot of the time when you come with a celebrity adjacent celebrity brand, people are out there for the money or the wrong reasons, give you cheap product. And we decided to make this a family-run business, family-run distillery, just for the simple fact that we can control product quality from start to finish. So I'm not interested in putting out anything that has added sugars or added coloring. Even the colors that are used in the RTDs are derived from vegetable juice or turmeric, for instance. And so that goes along, not only to the meditation, but also to the harmony that started the Beach Boys.
right.
Oh, I love
And
that.
so harmony in music also translates to harmony in flavor. And that's kind of how we operate the distillery. And luckily we have a head of product, a head of distillery operations that, has been doing this for a long time and who understood the mission and the ethos of the company, which is we're going to, give the best experience and the nicest ingredients possible. And if it costs us a little bit more to create it that way, then so be it. But we're not using malt beverages, we're not using
Right.
anything that's sourced from low quality vendors. So it really is distilled, blended, and produced right here in San Diego, in Miramar to be exact.
I just wanted to say it was a real pleasure to have you on here. I think that was a
pleasure.
very thoughtful conversation. It was really fun. Thank you to Mike and Brian Love for coming on the show. We got to talk about Stagecoach, their upcoming gig September 1st at Rady Shell. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mike.
Thank you for having us on the locale.
Yes. Look at that
Locales
voice.
only.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it.
can we get one locales only from Mike Love?
Locales only.
Oh, smooth like
you
silk.
you are tuning into locales only.
Oh, I love
It's a
it.
locale zone.
Yeah, it sounds like a calzone when you're
It
saying it.
sounds like an Italian sandwich.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. Is it lunchtime?
I think we're back. Is this you guys right here?
Oh,
Shiny garage?
Oh,
no.
here,
This
to the
is-
left. Is this close?
close
No,
enough.
we
I can pull up
we
a little
get
bit.
there.
Thank you for joining Locales Only today. Thank you to Mike Love from the Beach Boys. That was great conversation. Thank you to my wife for joining. We really loved having you as well. And to Brian, who told us all about Club Kokomo Spirits. I want to thank everyone on the Straw Hut Media team, including executive producer Ryan Tillotson and our editor and producer Parker J. Hicks. And as always, a big thank you to Fletcher Jones Motor Cars in Newport Beach for providing this beautiful Mercedes-Benz EQE to be our rolling podcast studio. Join us next time on Locales Only, where you can buckle up and go for a ride in our mobile podcast studio with some of the coolest people in Southern California.